Hello everyone, this is Tinkering with B-Hav. I'm B-Hav. Today I'm going to show you how I take apart this tank from my 426B stove, 3-burner stove that I'm working on. I'm going to try to get running for this weekend. This stove was made between 1954 and 1960. Normally, to date these stoves, you look on the underneath side of the tabs. One of the tabs will have the date stamped in it, but this one does not, and I don't understand why, but I know that this model stove was made between 1954 and 1960, so it's pretty old. So this is pretty crusty, so we're going to start out, well, I want you to hear, first thing is there's some rust on the inside of it. Hear that? There's stuff inside of that tank, and there's not supposed to be, so I'm going to have to clean the inside of the tank out really well. But I'm going to take the whole thing apart. I'm going to replace this whole valve assembly, and this is called the generator. It vaporizes the fuel into vapor so that it burns in the burner. I have a brand new assembly here, which is the generator and the valve assembly. It's a new old stock one, so I'm going to replace it with that, and then I'll probably clean this one up over time, and then just have it as a backup, or if I ever get another stove I want to fix. So we'll start out, I'll take the fuel cap off. This is an old 3-piece fuel cap. It's made out of 3 pieces. There's the brass insert on the inside, if you can see that, and it looks like the rubber in there is pretty bad, so I'm going to replace that gasket. There's a screw here on the inside. You take it out and then it comes apart. So if you look on the inside of there, it is pretty crusty looking on the inside of that tank. If you can see, yeah, that looks really rusty. So hopefully I can get this cleaned out enough to where I can use it. So first thing we'll do is I'll take my 1/2-inch wrench here, and I'm going to take the generator off. I sprayed it with penetrating oil earlier so that it would be easy to take off. So I'll take this long stem off of here. There's going to be another stem on the inside that's shorter. It's the pricker needle, and I'll show you what that's about in a second. Ooh, look at there. All right, so that is the generator. That little spring inside of there gets really hot, and as the liquid fuel goes through there, it vaporizes, and the pressure pushes that vapor out. The itty bitty orifice in the end of there, if you can see it, there's a little teeny tiny hole, and that's where I guess the vaporized gas comes out, and that's what burns. At the end of this little stem, it's hard to see, but there's a teeny tiny needle, and that little needle will poke in and out of that hole to clean it out and make sure there's no carbon or any buildup in there, so that the vaporized fuel can get out that hole real easy, and it works. That's how it works. So we're going to take this whole thing apart. I'm also going to undo this nut here. We're going to loosen this, and then that whole big long stem will come out, and then it'll just be the valve left. Oops. Inside of this nut there's graphite packing, which keeps the pressurized fuel from forcing back out around the handle. So all the lanterns and stoves the nut on the inside of the valve wheel there has that graphite packing in there that seals it against the stem, the valve stem. It's almost off here. Now we'll undo the valve, and this whole thing will come loose out of here. Okay, so that is our valve stem, right? And inside of the nut in there, you're not going to be able to see it, but there's graphite packing, and that's what seals it. Okay, so there's that piece. So this little lever right here on the tank, you turn that, and that's what moves that little pricking needle back and forth to clean out that orifice. Okay, so now we're going to turn it around, and I'm going to take, this is the pump, right? That's what you pump it up with. That probably needs to be oiled up really good. There's leather in there. That's what seals the pump and puts pressure in. So we're going to take that apart. I'm going to take my handy dandy little needle nose pliers here. We're going to take this little retaining clip off. Once that's off, it's a little retaining clip, so you can see that. Then the whole pump assembly It's stuck on there a little bit, so let's see what we can do here. There we go. Gonna pry it off a little there, real easy. Okay, so this is what the pump looks like on the inside, right? It's got this little piece of leather here. Ooh, that's really dried out, so I'm going to soak that in some neat's foot oil, which is leather conditioning oil. That'll make it nice and supple and soft again, and it's not cracked anywhere or split, so that'll fix up real nice and still work, still be good. But I'll clean all these little parts up, right? So we take that out. Then you also, in here, you have your stem. So that goes down in there into your check valve, which keeps the pressure from coming back out the pump, and that's what seals it off right there. This is square. It fits inside of this pump handle like there, and then that's how you tighten it, open it, and close it by spinning that. Okay, so those two are there. Down inside of here is the check valve, is down inside of there. I know you don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's down in there. There's a check valve. We're going to take that out too, but to do that, you have to have a special tool. I bought one right after I started doing lanterns because it's the best way to take out the check valve. So this is what the check valve removal tool looks like, right? So if you see there on the end, it's got the two little tabs that fits into like a screwdriver slot in the check valve, and then this little threaded rod goes through there, and that screws into the check valve itself. So you put it down in until you find where it's in the slots. There it is. You screw it. You screw this down in so it's in the check valve. That's in the slots. You tighten that nut up so that it can't slip, right? I use my 3/8 inch wrench here to tighten that. Then we call all the way up here to a 5/8 around my removal tool, break it loose. And I'll show you what this check valve is in just a second. Alright, so now if you look, you can see there's the check valve, and you see how that tool fits down in there. If I just tried to use a screwdriver in that little brass piece, it would slip out and it would destroy it, and I would never get it out. So this is a handy dandy tool. So let me show you a little bit about this check valve. All lanterns have one of these also at the end of the pump, right? So this one is freed up. Can you hear it jingling? I don't know, it's hard to hear. I can hear it right there. There's a little ball inside of there, okay? And that ball, when the pressure pushes back on the ball, it seals it and doesn't let pressure out. But when you pump down on it with the pump, the air pressure pushes the ball out and then lets air in. So that's good. I just cleaned that up and used that same one. All right, so now the only thing left to do on this tank is to take this valve out. And that's the most difficult part, you might say. So I have to put it in a vise. I'm going to clamp this in a vise, and then you just grab the tank and you spin it, and that's how you break it loose. Otherwise, it can be pretty hard to get a wrench onto here, or hold this still and put a wrench on there. It can slip off. It's a lot easier just to clamp it in a vise. So I have a vise right here. You can't see it in the frame. I'm going to put this down in there and take that out. There we go. Okay, so now it's broke free. So it's broken loose. So now, if you look, it's just spinning out. And down inside of this will be the fuel pickup tube. And that's that piece right there. Okay. So anyway, that's the fuel pickup tube. Fuel goes in through here, comes up through, goes through that, and out into the burner, just like I showed you earlier. So I'm going to replace all this, but I will clean this up and reuse it on another stove. Okay, so this is all taken apart now. Now I can try to get all those little pieces of rust out of there and everything, and clean the inside out. So now that it's all apart, I just have to clean it up. And I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to do it on film or on the video here, and then I'll show you the finished product when it's all done, ready to put back together. So thanks for watching.